Hey guys, it's Anna. Welcome or welcome back. Today I'm sharing with you things that I wish I knew before using Disability Access Service Pass, also known as DAS, for the first time in Walt Disney World. Before we get into the video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Anna. I have two sons. My younger son does have autism, and we utilize Disability Access Service Pass for many years for him. And on this channel, I share all of our adventures to Walt Disney World and other places, and also I make a lot of videos about Disability Access Service Pass. So if you would like to see more of those, you can find them right here and down below. So let's get into the video. So before we get to my top 10 things I wish I knew about Disability Access Service Pass before using it for the first time, let's just get the first thing out of the way. Disability Access Service Pass is not a skip a line service. It does not get you to front of the line. You still have to wait whatever is the posted queue, but you're just waiting outside, and then when it is your time, you might wait an extra 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes inside while you're queuing to the front of the ride. So it is definitely not a way to skip the line or get in front of the line. So now that we know that, let me share everything else with you. Tip number one, you do not have to rush back for your return time. So say if you booked a 7 Doors Mine Train and your return time is at 2:15, but you're doing other things. Maybe you're using the bathroom, having lunch, meeting characters, or you're just on the other side of the park. Don't rush back. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to disappear. One of three things can happen. If there's technical issues with the ride, or if there's weather, if it's an outdoor ride, Disney will cancel it. And if the park is closing, it will get canceled. And of course, if you yourself cancel it and book something else, because you can only hold one reservation at a time. But if Disney cancels it due to weather or technical difficulties, they will give you something that's called a multi-experience pass. So you can just come back once the ride is back up and running. You come to the ride and scan in, and you can go right on. You don't have to wait. But another example of this, if you were going on Teacups and it broke down and then they gave you a multi-experience pass, you cannot use it on Tron or 7 Doors Mine Train because it's not the same category. So it has to be similar category, but they list all of that in the app, so definitely check it out. Tip number two, save your DAS for rides and attractions that have a long wait. A lot of times families use them on rides that have like 10 or 15-minute wait or no wait at all. Yes, you can absolutely use your Disability Access Service Pass wherever you would like, however you would like, but maybe instead of using it for the Little Mermaid that can have a queue of 15 minutes, you can reserve something like 7 Doors Mine Train or Big Thunder Mountain or Tron that might have an hour-long wait or even a little bit longer. So my best recommendation for you is to use it on the rides that have the longest wait times, and try to filter in less popular rides or rides, of course, that have just very little wait, and that's going to help you move along and get on as many rides as possible. Tip number three, make your wait time count. So having a plan is a must. So when you are at Disney World and you want to go on, say, Tron in Magic Kingdom, and the wait time is an hour or an hour and 20 minutes, try to book it around your lunch time or your dinner time, so then that way you're not just sitting around waiting. You can have a nice meal, or you can also go on a ride that has a lower wait time. You can meet a character, you can go shopping. If you have a child who has special needs and who is overly stimulated, you can take them to a quiet area. There are so many things to do with your time instead of just sitting and waiting for the next attraction for your return time to be called. Tip number four, stay on one side of the park or in one land at a time. Especially if this is your first time going to Walt Disney World, or this is your first time using Disability Access Service Pass, you don't want to book Big Thunder Mountain all the way over here, and then book Tron all the way over there. That is going to be a lot of walking, whether you are disabled yourself or you have a child who has a disability, whether you're using a mobility scooter or wheelchair, or you're pushing a stroller with your special needs kid like myself. It's a lot of walking, and you want to try to eliminate that as much as possible. So my best advice is pick an area of the park where you would like to start and just filter through all of those rides there before you start making your way somewhere else. So instead of, again, doing, say, Space Mountain to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train to Big Thunder Mountain to Tron, why don't you do Big Thunder, Tiana's, Pirates, Aladdin, Jungle Cruise, like that. So you're in one area and it eliminates so much wasted time and so much walking. Number 5, you still want to have a good plan for your entire day. Because you have Disability Access Service Pass, that shouldn't eliminate all the planning. You should still have your day more or less planned out for the best possible outcome. You want to think about where you want to eat, if you need to make advanced reservations, or if you're going to be doing quick service. Mobile ordering is your best friend. Think of mobile ordering like your Disability Access Service Pass. It's literally the same thing. Get on the app and order your food, and think about what rides you want to go on, if you want to do some repeat rides, if you want to do shopping. Just have a plan for your day so everyone stays on track and everyone is focused and everyone knows what they're doing, because the last thing you want to do is get to Walt Disney World, have this Disability Access Service Pass, and just be all over the place running from one side to the other and not really knowing what you're doing. Number 6, you can only hold one DAS return time at a time. I know I covered it a little bit before, but just to let you know that you're only allowed to have one at a time and you cannot stack them. And if you were booked for, say, Pirates, but then you decided that you wanted to go to Jungle Cruise, you first have to go into the app and cancel the Pirates and get a new return time for Jungle Cruise. You cannot stack them at all. Tip number 7, Lightning Lane Pass could still be very much worth it for you. A lot of people assume that if you do have Disability Access Service Pass, that is all that you need and you're gonna be fine. But it just depends what your priorities are, and if you want to get on rides quicker, if you want to do more, if your trip is shorter, consider purchasing multi-pass Lightning Lanes for Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, or Hollywood Studios, and now essentially stack 3, 4, 5 rides at a time, because you will always have a Disability Access Service Pass return time, and you can have 3 or even more Lightning Lanes booked. So for instance, let's say we are still in the Magic Kingdom and you did a Disability Access Service Pass return time for Tron, and then you knew in advance that you're going to stay in Tomorrowland. So we could say that you booked Buzz Lightyear, you booked Speedway, and maybe, let me see, you booked Space Mountain. So you have those 3 rides on your Lightning Lanes, and now you have Tron, so that gives you the ability to do more quicker and stay in the same area. You don't have to, and I've done videos on this and I can have them linked down below, where multi-pass Lightning Lane was a complete failure. But I think if you plan well from the beginning and you want to make sure that you get on as many rides as possible, it's a good option. So definitely think about it. Tip number 8, don't forget the 10-minute rule. So you are allowed to book Disability Access Service Pass, also known as DAS, return time after you have scanned in to your ride, to your attraction, and 10 full minutes have gone by. You're able to then go back into the app and book your next attraction or your next ride or experience or whatever it is that you're looking to do. But also keep in mind, a lot of people don't know this, a lot of people forget about this, and especially if this is your first time, you're not even gonna think about it. Some popular rides will have 2 scanning points within the queue. One in the very beginning, and then one somewhere halfway. And it's usually like popular rides. It could be Space Mountain, it could be Tron, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, it could be Flight of Passage, Navi, just to name a few. So remember, you have to scan and then wait the 10 minutes. But if your queue has 2 scanning points, you have to wait the 10 minutes after you've passed the second scan. You scanned and you wait 10 minutes after that. I hope that makes sense. And I know it's not always posted, but maybe you can do research before to know exactly which rides have double scan points, or you can simply ask the cast member in the beginning when you do your first scan. Tip number 9, the person who holds the Disability Access Service Pass, also known as DAS, must scan first. Always. For every attraction, every show, every character meet and greet, everything that you're doing in Disney, that person scans first. Because what happens is you come up to the front of the ride, you scan, and your thing lights up blue. And this prompts the cast member who's standing there and looking at the screen to verify that we are the same people. And then once they approve it, it turns green, and everyone else who's behind, your other kids, your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, grandma, grandpa, then they can scan after you. If you do it in any other order, no one's getting on, because the person who holds the DAS has to scan first, has to be writing, has to be there. There's no if, ands, or buts. So make sure that you're always aware of that, and this also kind of saves you all that motion and commotion, because a lot of families don't know that, and they come up with a large group and then they can't find a magic band, and then, you know, the kid or the other adult is somewhere else. A lot of stuff happens. So hopefully this helps you. Tip number 10 that I wish I knew before using Disability Access Service Pass for the first time. When you are in Disney World and something happens to your DAS pass, whether you made a booking and it disappears, whether they gave you a multi-pass and something's wrong with that, whether grandma was on the pass but now she's not on the pass, whatever it might be, please go see the cast members that are under the blue umbrellas or at guest relations. They will help you. I know sometimes it feels like a big inconvenience that you now have to walk around, look for those people under the blue umbrellas, or go back to the front of the park to find guest services, but do it, because it's going to help you and it's going to save you time. Listen, a lot of things happen. Sometimes when we were traveling and we're in Disney World and Magic Kingdom and we're getting ready to go on Tron, and one of our family members' magic band is no longer working. I don't know what happened. So we have to track back to the front of the park to guest services and have it fixed. And it's usually like 1, 2, 3. And the best part, sometimes they actually will give you another pass to something else for your inconvenience. So don't be harsh on the cast members in Disney. They're there to help you, honestly. I know sometimes it might seem overwhelming. Sometimes it might seem that people don't understand you, but they're there to help you, especially those folks under the blue umbrellas or guest services. They're the best. So definitely, if you have any issues, go see them. Before we end the video, I'll give you some rapid fire tips that might be helpful to you on your first Disney World trip using Disability Access Service Pass, or maybe this is your 10th trip and you just need a little refresher. Okay, so always know that you can use your Disability Access Service Pass during Christmas and Halloween parties. Sometimes people get that mixed up and there's a lot of confusion in groups, but yes, you absolutely can. And yes, you can meet certain characters, not all. As per a Disney cast member during our last trip, if a character is meeting in the town hall or in a place that is a building and there is a wait time, you can absolutely use your Disability Access Service Pass for those characters in those locations. But if they're meeting outside or in a tent or by a ride, you cannot use it there, unfortunately. So don't be discouraged, just plan accordingly, but know that you can absolutely use your pass for the parties. I think the confusion happens is if you get to the party at 4 o'clock, the party officially doesn't actually start till 7. You could use your disability access service pass between 4 and 6 p.m. and you potentially can get on 2, 3, maybe even 4 rides during this time. But then once 6 o'clock hits, the whole system kind of goes down. So the lightning lanes go down, individual lightning passes go down, and disability access service pass goes down. And then once 7 o'clock hits, and more or less they already filtered a lot of people out of the park, it goes back up and you can continue using your DAS pass right after that. Another tip, make sure you have multiple chargers for your phone, because if your phone's battery die, you cannot book nothing. No mobile ordering, no lightning lanes, and most definitely no disability access service pass return times. So make sure that you have multiple chargers, especially if you're planning to be there the entire day. Another tip I think a lot of people don't know is if you are using Disability Access Service Pass, also known as DAS, you can ride the same ride multiple times. There's no limitations. No one's going to tell you no. You could literally get on, get off, book a time, wait, get on, get off, and do this as many times as you want. And I think that's where the biggest issue comes with lightning lanes. I think a lot of people say like, well, you know, if you don't qualify, just purchase lightning lanes. Well, if you're someone like me who has a son who hyper fixates on certain rides, lightning lane just doesn't work for us, because he wants to go to Slinky Dog like 5 times. He wants to go to Soarin' like at least 4, 5, 6 times during the day. He wants to ride Tron as many times as possible. So having lightning lanes is not always the answer. I wish it was. I don't know. I wish Disney was like, hey, here's 20 credits for, there's 20 rides in the park and there's 20 credits and you could use them however you want. And then maybe that way it would make sense. But, you know, what do I know? I know nothing. So, but just do know that if you do like an attraction, a show, a ride, you can go on it as many times as you want. All right, guys, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Share your experiences. I have a whole playlist of DAS related videos. I will leave them right here and down below, so check it out. And I hope you have the most magical time on your next Disney World trip. I'll see you next time. Bye.